Why are you doing it, Corporal Kelly? Because I'm selfless. Alright, it's that time again, time for another midweek video. And today we're going back to our roots, my first love, if you will. We're going to talk about my backpacks for 2024. Let's get to it. In last Sunday's video, I mentioned I'm going to get back to more educational type videos, gear reviews, series, things like that, along with the overnighters. Well, I want to get back to the basics. And one way to do that, in my opinion, is to return to your first love. It's kind of like, people say your first love, you can love others, but you never love anyone quite the same because it was the first time. So gear is considered the same way, in my opinion. Me, straight out of high school, hit the Marine Corps, and being in the infantry, we were issued the old Alice pack. We had our 782 Y harnesses, and it was the evolution from the Vietnam War to that time frame in the mid-90s. And it was pre-Molly, and everything seemed to click. Once you learn how to use that gear, you learn to love to hate the gear, or hate and love. They go hand in hand. But throughout your life, you always remember that. And every once in a while, you want to dabble in that, or re-experience it. Nostalgia, whatever. Throughout my videos on here in 14 years, I've shown the Alice pack off and on. More so than, lately than, before. Because I'm drawn to it. And it's one piece of gear, in my opinion, that has stood the test of time, and you can't kill it. You can't destroy it. It's always here. And it seems to always work. And you can beat the hell out of it. So today's video, I want to show you my Alice pack. Talk about some features on it, why I continue to carry it. And then I'm going to move into a Savotta Jaakari or Jaakari, however you pronounce that, the medium Savotta. The most famous medium Savotta that was made for the Finnish Border Patrol back in the 90s. Once again, this one's 30 plus years old, and it has stood the test of time. For this version here, I will say it was developed in the well, I can't say when it was developed. Let's say it came out in the mid-70s, 74, 75, and it was distributed early to late Vietnam War, but mostly after the war. It's a combination of two packs. There was a tropical rucksack, which was given to the U.S. military, had 3 pouches along the back side. They were a lot shorter and narrower. That bag had an internal square frame with an X inside of it. And it was built into the bag. Could it be taken off? Yes, but you couldn't wear the pack without it. The pack would basically roll around. The square frame was meant to keep it squared up or flush with your back, okay? And it hung low on your back. The other bag that was combined with to create the Alice pack was an ARVN backpack. The ARVN were Vietnamese that were trained by U.S. soldiers to take back their country, and it failed miserably. However, they had 2 large dump pouches on the back. So they looked at it and they said, most Americans were taking the ARVN packs off of dead ARVN soldiers because they wanted the larger pouches. So they decided, let's go ahead and make 3 larger pouches on the back, have it look like a tropical rucksack, but we'll fix the frame so that it's higher up and sits off the back around your lumbar area. And that was the version 1 of the Alice pack, what you just saw over there. So with that quick history lesson out of the way, let's get into the features. So here's the outside of the Alice pack. And just like we mentioned, we have 3 large dump pouches, 1, 2, and 3. And those that are familiar with the military MREs, or meals ready to eat, one of these is that size. So you can actually stuff one of those meals inside here. Give you an idea of the size that will actually facilitate in that pouch, okay? So we have 3 of those. On the top here, we have our lid that goes into a large dump pouch. On the lid itself, you have a Velcro stitched opening right here that you can place items inside there. And it was waterproof back in the day with a light rubber. You can see that on the inside there. So on our back side here, we have two of our shoulder straps on here that are connected directly to our external frame. Here's the external frame here. On the pack itself, it says field pack. This is an LC1 and is dated 85. So it's 1985 and is almost brand new. When you find stuff like this, it's called new old stock, okay? They made so much of this, it never made it to circulation, so it just sat somewhere on a boat or in a warehouse, just sitting there. At some point, the military says, hey, we can unload this stuff because we have other gear now that we no longer need this type of stuff. So they sell it to the civilian world, dealers buy them up, people on eBay, things like that. So every once in a while, you can find a gem like this. Moving down, we have our lumbar support right here that goes against our lumbar portion of our back, our lower back, which, as I showed earlier, will actually take the pack flush against your back and lift it off like so. Due to the fact that the shoulder straps are attached to the frame, it will ride high on your back and offset. And the last thing that some people enjoy is a waist buckle that will help keep the lumbar support against your lower back. There's hidden gems on here that most don't know about. Behind every single one of these dump pouches is a hollow space. So you can carry extra gear like pickaxes to dig fighting holes, shovels, or an axe. Alright, so the entire thing is comprised of nylon. The only Velcro was the flap right here. You have metal buckles and an external removable aluminum frame. So if something were to go wrong, you can quickly replace it or swap it out. Overall, you're looking at about 35 liters for the size for the actual dump pouches here. But believe me, it could probably be pushed to about 40. Overall weight, 3.5 pounds unloaded. And can it carry up to 100? Yes. Normal, comfortable weight, 50 to 60. Back in 1995, when my Marine Corps came alive, this was it for me. Loved to hate it. Learned to hate it. However, it's always been there for me. It's always done the job. And it's not for everybody, but it works for me. Now, let's go ahead and transition into the Savotta pack. So now on to our Savotta pack. The company's been around since 1955. A lot of people don't know that. They think it's a newer company. We're talking like 10, 12 years ago. But no, 1955. This model of backpack I'm going to show you was made for the Finnish Border Patrol in the mid to late 90s. So we're talking almost 30 years ago, okay? And some people even thought it was younger than that, like 4 or 5 years. But no, this backpack, this model of backpack has been around for about 30 years, okay? And once again, for their Finnish Border Patrol. So it's a military type bag. It's made from 1,000 denier Cordura and has plastic buckles on it, zippers, and we'll get into all that. Approximately 35 liters, just like an Alice pack, but could be pushed to 40 because the top flap will actually raise up. And I'll show you that here in a minute. But the important takeaways of this section is that the company's been around since 1955, and this backpack, the Jaakari or Jaakari, however you want to pronounce it, has been around for about 30 years. We're going to deal with the medium Savotta Jaakari or Jaakari. There's a small, which is about 1/3 less, and a large, which is almost double that size, and it has a metal external frame. So today we're going to deal with the medium, so let's get into it. So here's my medium Savotta. We have straps on the sides right here to facilitate an axe or a shovel or a water bottle. That's found on both sides here. We have our plastic buckles here in the front with our lid. Now we already mentioned it's around 35 liters. There's a buckle here and here where it can be adjusted and meet about a 40-liter requirement. So the lid will actually raise up to accommodate that. We have 5 rows of MOLLE on the front and the sides as well. And one of the most important features, in my opinion, is on this side right here. We have an external zipper. So on top, you got 3 rows of MOLLE. In addition to that, you have about an 8-inch strap that we talked about earlier with this buckle that you can go ahead and raise the top lid up to make it 40 liters. You got a Velcro patch here in the front that will accommodate more than 3x5 or 3x4. And your large dump pouch on the inside. Under the flap, just like an Alice pack, instead of Velcro, you have a zipper with another waterproof pouch on the inside. So here's the back portion. We have an internal piece of plastic as well as thick pads right here that will land against your back. This way you're not going to have some type of metal frame digging into your back. You're going to have thick rubber on the inside here and a sheet of plastic the same width as the pack. Make sense? We have our shoulder straps, if you look at, that are beneath the top lid. So unlike an Alice pack where it's above, they're going to be below. So the pack's going to sit actually lower on my shoulders. But it's all good. Here's why. Moving down, we have a lumbar pad right here and a waist belt. So this is going to keep it secure to the lumbar region. And this should land exactly along my shoulder blades. Just like an Alice pack, you can loosen up your strap and get these as large as you need to facilitate some type of sleep pad, blanket, or bedroll. Now on our straps right here, like we talked about, they're lower than the actual lid. So it's going to sit lower on my back. However, it will be stopped by the lumbar support. We've already talked about that. On the shoulder strap itself, we have rows of webbing and a chest strap. This can be taken off and placed anywhere along here that you want. Before we talk pricing, I want to make this perfectly clear. Savotta does not have an affiliate program, so I don't make $1 off this. Nada, nothing, zilch. And then people are going to say, well, why are you doing it, Corporal Kelly? Because I'm selfless. There was 2 YouTube videos. One shows a catapult or trebuchet, and they launch this thing hundreds of yards or meters out in the field, and it hits, and they do it multiple times, and other than getting mud on it, nothing happened. Then they grab it on the second video, hook it to a pickup truck or a Jeep, and are driving it around the woods and through mud puddles. It's bouncing off trees, and I think the only thing that broke was a buckle that they replaced. So seeing that and it getting the hell beat out of it reminded me of an Alice pack, and I was like, wow, that thing is indestructible. So that's what drew me to it, and I was like, you know what, I want that, and I want that part of my collection. So it's good, durable gear, and it has stood the test of time, just like an Alice pack. So since this has stood the test of time, a few companies and Chinese companies have tried to copy it, even down to the color. Now let's talk pricing. Okay, this is where people get upset and get lost. This is a Finnish company, okay, out of the United States. The copied bags are copied out of the United States. So made in USA is not a factor here, okay? This bag goes for $1.99. The copies that I've seen, depending if there's a sale or not, currently go for around $1.59. So about 40 bucks difference. The colors are the same. There's tan, there's black, brown, and even a camo color along with the OD green, okay? So all companies seem to have the same colors, all right? So if you're on a tight budget, you want something that's 1000 Cordera and sewn similar, look similar, go with the cheaper one. That's entirely up to you. If you want my opinion, spend the extra 40 bucks and get the legit bag that's been around for 30 plus years and has stood the test of time, that's been launched from a catapult or trebuchet, and been drugged behind a vehicle, and the field tests have been complete. So going forward, you're going to see me using one of those bags until I find something different. I'm currently looking for a developer to work with me and R&D a bag that I've had in my head for about 5 years. The problem is trying to find pricing, and people hear $200 and they get crazy, but then they want it made in America. You can't have it both ways, okay? So I'm currently working on that right now, but until then, those are great bags, and I stand by them. And I've used them off and on over a 30-year period, and I'm going to continue to do so. So with that, let's get out of here before the rain hits. All the gear in my videos can be found in 2 places. One, my Amazon affiliate page, and 2, my Etsy store. Both links are found inside my description box. Now please do me that favor. Hit that like and subscribe button, then ring that notification bell. Once you ring that bell, please select all notifications. As always, thank you for your comments, views, and support. Thanks for watching. Get out in the field, have some fun. I'm going to catch you next time.